it's interesting that you're just saying that there's nothing to do but code. You've got people more focused now using these tools that you've invented and pulled together and bolted together in a way that's very synergistic. And so now you're reaching new highs of productivity. So that's wild. That's just a really good use case that we can talk more and more about. But I think let's kind of unpack a couple of the applications that I'm most excited about as I began to watch the partner call that you guys just have with all of your partners. Some of these things were just like groundbreaking. So I just love this new one that's called callthrough.us.
Yep.
Callthrough.us. So maybe you can help me understand how people can use that.
Absolutely. We have always done a couple of partnerships with like Sprint and T-Mobile to allow our, resellers and partners to kind of resell Sprint or T-Mobile type services on our system, all via white label, so they can become MVNOs. What we never really focused on was how do we turn on, an application where it can give you all your business functionality. And so one of the things that we're launching is a full app for Android and iOS. So you have all your business applications on your cell phone. And then when you make calls, it's going through your business switch. And we've done some pretty hardcore magic in the background. So it's going over the voice part of the network and not the data part of the network. As you know, whenever you use like a lot of the third-party apps to make phone calls, when you're on the data part of the network, you might run into areas where you just have no data service, but you still have the voice service, and then the calls drop. Our 100% focus was, at the end of the day, no matter what you're using, if the calls ever drop, that's not good. And people can't, really use that reliably. So because of that, our focus has always been, hey, how do we make sure you have your features and functionality, but ensure that the call quality is going over the voice part of the network? And this is one of our really robust apps that we are launching right now, is to allow anybody to download these white labeled apps they can put on their cell phones and get all their business phones functionality onto that app.
The cool thing is, like being a part of a BroadSoft switch for a long time, we had this thing called simultaneous ring. And when that came out, it gave me a tremendous amount of power and usability, because when my desk phone was ringing, it was simultaneously ringing my cell phone. So I would never miss a call.
Yep.
And I loved that. I didn't have to go press a forward and then, then it switches over, but doesn't ring both, just switches over. And a lot of times I would leave the office and go, oh crap, I forgot to push forward. And now all those are going to end up in my voicemail for tomorrow, that kind
Absolutely.
of thing. So that never has to happen again. That cell phone is tied directly to the phone that you have on your desk. So the phone in your pocket is now as powerful as the phone on your desk. And you guys just put those together.
Well, and one of the great things too is I don't have an iOS. So I'm old school Android. And when someone leaves me a voicemail, I actually have to listen to that voicemail. One of the small, subtle applications that we added into the whole system is the ability to transcribe all your voicemails. And so now it's like, not only if for some reason, all your devices can be ringed, or you put them in ring groups, or you can use time of day routing. So, hey, I want my cell phone business calls only coming from, 9 to 5 or 9 to 6. But after 6 o'clock, I don't want any of my business phone calls coming to my cell phone. But if they do, now it's, one of the little features to me is so powerful is being able to transcribe all your emails or all your voicemails, and it transcribes it to an email, gives you the attachment, and then you can send it to the right appropriate person if you're not the right person receiving that phone call. So it's a lot of the little subtle things that's in the apps that, I think is going to make a big difference on productivity for not just our employees, but like our customers and their employees.
Okay, so let's talk about another one of those things that make us so much more productive. And it's what we're doing right now, video.
Yep.
So video conferencing is now a part of the 2600 suite of services.
Absolutely. Well, video is a funny one. So we have been actually working on this for a couple of years now, but our customers have never really been asking too highly of it. Their point of view was, yeah, that'd be great to have, but no one really uses video. So our internal team, a lot of our engineers are remote, because when you find a really strong distributed telecom engineer, you don't care where they live. You're going to hire them. So they have been sitting on a video conference bridge for the last 3 or 4 years. So it's rock solid. The downside of our video conferencing in the past was there was never really a good interface. It was done from a technology standpoint, but not a user experience standpoint. And so in the last 3 weeks, we've really been focusing on the user experience. And we pushed this into our desktop app that we're launching so that anybody who's using the system can now use the video conferencing capabilities. And again, this goes back to this whole idea that people are working remotely now and people are stuck inside their houses, and they can't get to the office anymore, but they still need to collaborate. And you don't want to have to turn on 10 different services to collaborate. You just want your one service. Hey, here's my phone system. Here's my video conferencing, here's all my collaboration tools, and they're all under the same roof. So you can just kind of use and pick and choose which ones you want.
Yeah, so the other thing that you've done is put together all these very powerful collaboration tools along with the work from home technology that approximates everything that's in your office. And you created this thing called COMM.io.
Yep.
So let's talk about how you bolted those together to create one suite that changes the world for the remote worker.
This is one of the complaints, and we've heard our customers say this before, is that they didn't want to have to log into a web portal and then, start receiving their phone calls that way. They want something on their desktop that will just pop up whenever a phone call comes in and they can silence it. And we took it one step further. We decided, hey, not only that, we want to have more of that traditional kind of like Slack experience where you have a really strong, powerful tool that gives you all the information at your fingertips that's just always sitting there on standby waiting for you to either receive a phone call or make a phone call. And so not only does it give you all the functionality of your business phone system, but it's kind of like the next generation where it's all, using WebRTC based logic to route the calls behind the scenes. But it gives you all the functionality of seeing all your voicemails, seeing all your faxes. I know a lot of people don't use faxes, but you'll still see all your faxes in your fax box. And you have the ability to make a call anytime you want. And that's V1. V2 is we're going to start integrating this with all the different chat clients out there. So if eventually you can press the button on any chat, and if you type in someone's number into, Microsoft Teams or Slack or whatever, you click on that button and it'll all of a sudden pop up the web phone and just make that call. So it just makes it that much easier to collaborate, which whatever system you're currently using, this kind of adds on to that too. So that's kind of goes with this whole vision of not just how do you make sure people are receiving phone calls and how are people sharing files and sharing videos, but more importantly, how do we make sure that no matter what their current work experience is, kind of make it even better. So that's kind of the overall goal.
It feels like you guys were responsive to this whole change in the workplace, but I want to tell you, I think you were visionary. I think you guys saw it coming and began to go into high gear about 6 months ago, because I kind of watched that happen. And they were a bunch of fun little projects, but you call them Legos, and you took those Legos and created an overall solution to a real problem that is on us now.
Obviously my hat's off to the team. They did all the heavy lifting and the hard work.